The Leawood estate, once filled with laughter and late-night music, now felt like a battlefield wrapped in silence. The air was heavy with unspoken words as Travis stood by the fireplace, his jaw tight, eyes burning with hurt and pride. Across the room, Taylor sat by the piano, her mascara smudged, her heart aching in a way no breakup song could ever capture. What started as a small argument over her studio schedule had spiraled into something dangerous. Travis couldn't hide the bitterness in his voice when he mentioned Calvin Harris, her ex, now a producer on her album. "You couldn't find anyone else?" he'd said, his tone sharp enough to wound. Taylor tried to explain, to reason, but the storm had already broken. Every insecurity, every fear Travis had buried came spilling out. He accused her of choosing her career over their relationship, of always being gone, of never letting him in. And then, the words that changed everything. He said his mother had warned him this would happen, that Taylor was from a different world, too untouchable to ever truly belong with him. Taylor froze. For a moment her tears stopped. Then, with devastating calm, she took off her engagement ring and placed it on the dining table. "Maybe you should listen to your mother," she whispered. "Maybe I am too much for you." And just like that, she turned and walked away, leaving the ring gleaming under the soft glow of the chandelier, a symbol of everything they were about to lose. The house was painfully quiet after she left. Only the faint hum of the refrigerator and the echo of her footsteps lingered. Travis stood frozen, staring at the engagement ring on the table. He replayed the moment in his head. Every word, every mistake. He hadn't just hurt Taylor. He had lied. The truth was, Donna Kelce had never said any of those things. His mother adored Taylor, but in that moment of rage and jealousy, Travis had needed something to throw back, something to make Taylor feel the pain he felt. And so he'd created a lie, one that cut deeper than any truth ever could. Panicking, he called his brother. Jason's voice on the other end was low, controlled, and cold. "You lied about Mom? Travis, do you realize what you've done?" "I was angry," Travis said, his voice cracking. "I didn't mean it." Jason's reply was firm. "You'd better fix it, fast. Because if Taylor leaves thinking Mom said those things, you won't just lose her. You'll lose Mom's respect, too." But Taylor didn't want to hear apologies. She came down the stairs, suitcase in hand, eyes red but resolved. "I need space," she said softly. "I can't be in a relationship where lies replace communication." He begged her to stay, but she only shook her head. "You need to figure out why you'd rather make up stories than tell me what you're really afraid of." Then she was gone. The door clicked shut, and with it, the warmth of their home disappeared. 5 days of silence followed, the kind that eats at your chest where every hour feels heavier than the last. Travis tried calling, texting, apologizing through voicemails she never answered. His mother found out from Andrea Swift what he had done, and the disappointment in her voice broke him more than any argument ever could. "Tell her the truth," Donna said. "Tell her everything. And if she doesn't forgive you, then you live with it. But you don't stay silent when love is on the line." By the 5th day, Valentine's morning, Travis had reached his breaking point. Sleep-deprived, hollow-eyed, and unable to focus even at practice, he sat alone in the quiet living room, the same place where everything had fallen apart. The engagement ring still lay on the table, a silent reminder of what his pride had cost him. That's when he made a choice. If Taylor wouldn't answer his calls, he'd find another way to speak to her, one that couldn't be ignored or twisted. So, with trembling hands, Travis propped up his phone, hit record, and began to talk. No filters, no background music, just him. "Hey everyone," he started, his voice rough from sleepless nights. "This isn't the kind of video I ever wanted to make. But the person I need to reach isn't answering her phone. 5 days ago, I had a fight with the woman I love. And during that fight I lied." He paused, the shame visible in every blink. "I told Taylor that my mother said our relationship wouldn't work, that she was too different, too famous. None of that was true. My mom never said a word like that. I made it up because I was angry and scared." He took a breath, the kind that shakes your whole body. "The truth is, I've been terrified. Terrified I'm not enough for someone like Taylor Swift. terrified that her exes are more talented, that one day she'll wake up and realize she made a mistake. And instead of telling her that, I let jealousy turn me into someone I don't even recognize." His eyes filled with tears. "Taylor, if you're watching this, I lied. I'm sorry. I hurt you. I made you question your worth and my mother's heart, and I will regret that for the rest of my life. But I'm done hiding. I fell in love with you. The artist, the dreamer, the woman who never stops believing in people. I don't want you to change. I want to be the man who deserves you." He picked up the engagement ring, holding it up to the camera. "I know I don't deserve to give this back yet, but I'll keep it here, waiting for the day you'll take it again. Because I'm not giving up. I'm going to fight for us, even if it means doing it in front of the whole world." He ended the video there. No edits, no retakes. Just truth. Within hours, millions had seen it. But Travis didn't care about views or comments. He cared about one person. The only one who could decide whether this confession was the end of their story or the beginning of redemption. That night, when the door finally opened and Taylor stepped inside, the entire world seemed to hold its breath. Taylor stood in the doorway, her eyes soft but tired, the kind of tired that came from sleepless nights and too many thoughts replayed on loop. "That was quite a video," she said quietly. Her voice wasn't angry, just wounded. Travis rose to his feet, heart pounding. "It was the truth," he said. "Every word." Taylor stepped further into the room, her suitcase trailing behind her. "Your mom called my mom," she said. Donna told Andrea everything. She didn't have to apologize, but she did. That meant something. Travis swallowed hard. "I was scared," he admitted. "Scared you'd leave if you knew how jealous I was. Scared you'd think I was weak." Taylor's expression softened, but her voice stayed steady. "And instead, you lied. You made me believe your family didn't want me. That's not weakness, Travis. That's betrayal." He nodded, unable to meet her eyes. "I know, I can't undo it. But I can own it. I said terrible things about your career, your exes, your priorities. I let my fear turn into cruelty. You didn't deserve any of it." Taylor's voice broke as tears welled up. "You hurt me so much," she whispered. "Not just with the lie. With everything else. You said maybe your mom was right, that I was too much, and part of me believed it. Because I've always been afraid I am too much." Travis stepped closer. "You're not too much, Taylor. You're everything. You love big. You dream bigger. I was just too small in that moment to handle it." Silence hung between them, filled with all the words they hadn't said. Then Taylor spoke again, her tone trembling but sincere. "I don't want to lose you, but I can't build a life on half-truths. I need honesty, even when it hurts." Travis reached for her hands. "Then I'll give you that every time. I'm starting therapy. I'll learn to talk before I explode. I'll be better. I swear." Taylor let out a shaky laugh through her tears. "You had 5 days to think about this, huh?" "Yeah," Travis said with a half-smile. "And about 7 lectures from Jason and Mom calling me an idiot. Multiple times." That drew the faintest smile from her, and for the first time in days, hope flickered between them. Taylor took a deep breath. "Calvin and I are just colleagues. But if working with him hurts you that much, I'll find someone else." "No," Travis said quickly. "You don't give up your art because of my insecurity. You work with whoever brings out the best in you. I'll learn to be secure in us." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Taylor's tears fell again, this time softer. That's the man I fell in love with." Taylor stood there, eyes shimmering as the tension slowly melted into fragile tenderness. Travis took a deep breath, pulled the engagement ring from his pocket and held it out. Not as a demand, but as a question. "Can I?" he asked quietly. Taylor hesitated. The weight of the past week hung between them. The sleepless nights, the anger, the tears, the lie that nearly broke everything. Then, after a long pause, she extended her hand. Travis slipped the ring back onto her finger where it had always belonged. "Right where it's supposed to be," he said, voice trembling. Taylor looked down at the ring, then up at him. "One video doesn't erase 5 days of pain," she said softly. "You know that, right?" "I do," he replied. and I'm ready to earn back your trust, however long it takes." She nodded, the corners of her lips lifting slightly. "We both have work to do. I should have told you about the tour extension sooner. I should have realized how late-night sessions with my ex might make you feel." Travis shook his head. "You don't need to apologize for doing what you love. I just need to learn how to be part of your world, not fight against it." For a long moment, they stood in silence. Not the angry kind that separates people, but the gentle kind that begins to heal. Over the next 6 months, they did the hardest thing two people in love can do: rebuild. Therapy sessions every week. Honest conversations instead of silent resentment. Travis learned to speak about his fears before they became accusations. Taylor learned to slow down, to make space for him even in the chaos of her career. They set boundaries, not out of control, but out of care, both protecting what they were building together. Slowly, the pieces fit again. The laughter returned. The trust grew back. And when the day finally came for them to stand before their families and say, "I do," it wasn't a fairy tale born from perfection. It was a promise born from survival. As Taylor walked down the aisle, radiant in white, Travis felt the weight of everything they had endured. The fight, the lie, the confession, the forgiveness. When he spoke his vows, his voice shook, but his eyes never left hers. "Taylor," he began, "I almost lost you because I was too afraid to be honest. You taught me that love isn't about never fighting. It's about fighting fair. It's about being brave enough to tell the truth, even when it's hard. I promise to always choose you, to talk instead of hide, to trust instead of fear, and to never, ever lie again." Taylor's tears spilled freely as she spoke her own vows. "You taught me that love isn't perfect, it's patient. It's showing up, even when it hurts. I promise to stand beside you through every season, to make space for us no matter how busy life gets, and to always believe in what we're building." When their lips met, the room erupted in cheers, Donna and Andrea exchanging teary smiles in the front row. Their children had nearly lost each other because of pride and fear, but they'd chosen love instead. And that, more than any song or touchdown, was the victory that truly mattered. Long after the wedding lights dimmed and the applause faded, what remained wasn't the spectacle. It was the quiet strength of two people who had learned how to stay. There were still disagreements, late nights, long tours, and grueling seasons. But now, when tension rose, they reached for honesty instead of silence. Travis learned that vulnerability didn't make him weak. It made him worthy. Taylor learned that love didn't mean losing herself. It meant finding balance with someone who saw all of her and stayed anyway. Sometimes, they'd look back on that February night, the ring on the table, the words that cut too deep, and realize it had been the turning point. The moment when their love stopped being a dream and became something real, flawed, and unbreakable. Because real love isn't built in harmony. It's forged in the fire, tested by storms, and strengthened by the courage to rebuild, again and again. And as they often told their friends who were struggling with their own relationships, don't fear the fights. Fear the silence that follows. Because love doesn't die from anger. It dies when two people stop trying. In the end, Taylor and Travis didn't just survive their worst fight. They transformed it into the foundation of a love that finally understood what forever really means.